Today, Mark Steinberg from the Stuff of Greatness takes us into his man cave to show us possibly one of the best private baseball memorabilia collections in the world. You don't want to miss this. Welcome to For Collectors.
What's up, everybody? We're back on For Collectors, and Mark is going to show us the room. So, Mark, where are we going to start off at here?
Let's start off with these bobbleheads, since we have something of interest for you, Dan, and Sammy. We got Mickey Mantle on the left. That's the traditional square base. These are all from 1961. And we got Willie Mays. There's two different Willie Mayses. That's the lighter faced version. Then we've got the mini Roger Maris. Then in the back center there is Mickey Mantle with the round base. They call that the muscles version because you'll see his shoulders are a little more broad than the original Mickey Mantle doll.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go the opposite way. It's really throwing me.
So anyway, then we have the super rare and desirable Roberto Clemente bobblehead, which is actually probably 500 times rarer than his rookie card, but sells for less. It's still an expensive one because, Pittsburgh was probably the smallest market of any that they made these bobbleheads for. And so they probably just made a lot fewer Clementes because Pittsburgh was just such a small market. And then again, we have Roger Maris on the right. And of course, they would do a Maris because these were made in 61 when he was chasing Babe Ruth's record. So these are just cool because they're the player-related ones. This is the original bobbleheads, and anything you see is kind of based on these guys. Anything you see today is based on these vintage guys that are all from the early 60s.
Yeah, I saw
There's
that
a whole episode on it.
Yeah, I saw the bobblehead episode. It was excellent, and I know that Clemente bobblehead is one of those. Is probably the most important bobblehead you can get for him. So it's as far as we know, it's his first one, right?
Absolutely, it is without a doubt. And this is one of the more. I have a love-hate relationship with these things because I do love the way they look. It's amazing the detail. These things were sold for $1 back in the stadium. Back in the stadiums back in the day, and the workmanship that went into them is just crazy. But they are highly breakable and very fragile, and I'm always kind of walking on eggshells when I handle them because if you develop a hairline crack or a little chip under the neck rim, it just devalues them. It can cut the value in half because collectors of these things are very anal and inflicted with OCD, I think.
Yeah, that's so cool, and I think those translate to a lot. Bobbleheads are still popular today, so I think that's one of those really cool ones. I don't think banners translate as much today as something like a bobblehead, so I think it's really cool.
Yeah, well, that's a good transition. Let's go over to the banners here. We got two Joe DiMaggio pennants, and I've had these for a long time. The one on top is a little more common than the one on bottom. But if you look closely at...
Are they showing up as backwards?
They look good on my screen. You're good.
Okay, good. Sorry.
It's so weird to see them backwards.
I know.
Anyway, these are both very rare pennants. It's very rare to see a player pennant as opposed to a team pennant. But these were sold at Yankee Stadium back in the 40s and 50s. And I was really happy to find this, if you pan down, Bart, to the bottom shelf there. This Type 1 photo of Joe DiMaggio was used for the pennant. Right here. That one.
Oh, wow.
See that picture of Joe? That was used in many publications. A very famous shot of him. This is a Type 1 photo, meaning it was developed within 2 years of the photo being taken. And if you look at that photo, it's the same image as in that pennant.
That is cool.
So I was happy to snag that. That came from it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is really cool. I love how you have it displayed too. It's so cool.
Yeah, all his pennants are displayed so well, and He probably has, I think, the most prolific pennant collection in the world, to be honest with you.
It might be one of them. Then on a similar vein of matching items, if you go to this Willard Mullen, we haven't shown most of this stuff in the videos, but if you go to this Willard Mullen artwork of the Brooklyn Bum, that's what he was a great cartoonist in the 40s and 50s predominantly. He was the #1 sports character. Let's just say cartoonist. It's easier to say.
Caricature.
Yeah, and his artwork was always featured on the cover of the Sporting News. So I was lucky enough to find on eBay this copy of the Sporting News with the same artwork. So I had the artwork first, and it's one of a kind, obviously. And then I found the issue of the Sporting News, which it appeared on.
Wow.
So there it is. And then, as a coincidence, on in the left-hand column, there's an article about this new phenom named Jackie Robinson, who might be a prospect for baseball. On the left there. So it's just an incredible thing. Sometimes the best finds aren't the most expensive ones. I think I got this thing for under $10, and it's the actual matching Sporting News to match the artwork that I already had.
That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at some of the pennants. Like you said, pennants no longer mean much because they're so ugly and mass produced and stiff as a board and just unimaginative. But if you like, there's a pennant from the 1955 World Series, the famous one in which Brooklyn finally broke through and beat the Yankees, which shows both Ebbets Field and Yankee Stadium on the left. And the graphics are just out of this world. I mean, the artistry that it took to create these is intricate and complicated and incredible that they were able to actually silkscreen that onto a piece of felt.
Is this the one with the call? The famous call?
The call?
The announcer call? Is this the
No, that's 51.
Okay.
I'll show you that one later. And it has a fringe on the left as opposed to tassels. So this is a really unique one. There are a few out there, but it's pretty rare and very desirable. One of the best post-war pennants around. Now these are Brooklyn Dodger pennants. This one with the hitchhiking bum is super rare. I think I've only seen maybe 3 of those ever. Why some are rarer than others, I don't know. And then if you pan to the left, you got the green. One thing I love about the vintage pennants is that they would use any color for the team. They weren't making the Dodgers blue and the Reds red. So it's not uncommon to find a green Dodger pennant or a purple Reds pennant or things like that. You know, it's just so cool. It's before the days of mass production and just incredible art. This is the only Don Newcombe pennant of its kind I've ever seen. I've never seen another one go up for sale.
Wow,
and if you keep going to the left,
how many? If you had to guess, Mark, how many pennants do you think you have, and not just what you have displayed?
Between 400 and 500, I think.
Oh my god!
The best one, the ones that I consider the best, are on display and are framed. But I've got bins of them that I can't part with them. They're sitting in a closet, and I can't part with them because I love them so much. Pennants are just my first love. You know, it's pen down. I'll show the jacket.
Is that Jackie Robinson?
Yeah, and it's a great one because it's a rookie pennant. You can see it says Jackie Robinson, first baseman, and he only played first base in his rookie season of 1947. So this pennant is from 1947, and it's obviously highly desirable because it's Jackie.
We do have an episode. We do have a 2-part episode where Mark shows almost every single All-Star game pennant, and some even 2 from the same game from like
mostly late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, late 50s, early 60s, like every All-Star game, and that's a really fun one.
Yeah, we had fun doing that one.
The ribbons I see coming off the back end of the pennants, are those to tie the pennant onto a stick, or is that just to let it fly in the air? Like, what are those ribbons?
They're typically called tassels or streamers. I think tassels is the most common. Some people call them ties, but that's incorrect. The stick would go in the felt. You know, let's just focus on this one. The stick would go right through that felt spine We call that the
Okay.
spine. And you'd have a wooden dowel stick that would go right through there. And I guess nobody saved the sticks because when you get these pennants, they're always without the stick. Of course, I have a couple sticks stashed away, but
Right.
I think they were just, to answer your question, they were just visually pleasing to have the streamers on there. Some pennants didn't have them. There's a company called Ad Flag who made a lot of these in the 50s and 60s, and their pennants don't have any of the streamers. So this one's super rare with this 1954 Indians. I love the artwork on that one. It's just so creative, and it's a championship season for Cleveland, and it's got the list of names to the left of the dancing Wahoo. Just a beautiful pennant, in my opinion.
Anything else in here while we're in this area?
Larry Doby.
Well, I don't mean specific pennant, but I mean other stuff.
Oh,
So I'll just pan down to show, like I said, how overwhelming it can be to come in here because Mark has, and without getting into every description of everything, but this table is Mickey Mantle, right, Mark?
yeah, Yankees the lamp is a Heartland lamp of Mickey Mantle. There's just so few of those that survived. It's just a miracle to find one intact. And this is the nicest condition one that I could ever find. And this is all Brooklyn. I love the Brooklyn bum. So these, Cappy the Trap and Hojo the Bow, it's really stupid names. But the thing about those is to find those squeaky toys in the original box is impossible. So I was able to find both versions in the box, which I really haven't seen one since I got these. And then this is Jackie Robinson stuff mostly. Some of it's super rare. That Jackie bust was a candy container. You can see the clear portion at the base contained candy, and that almost always got thrown out. So when you see these things, you see them very infrequently, but when you do, it's only usually the top half and not the candy dish portion.
So, Mark, I got a quick question.
Over this.
Mark, can I ask you a quick question? You started off the interview talking about how much you're a Reds fan, and we've seen a lot of non-Reds fan stuff, and a lot of probably money spent on non-Reds fan stuff. So, is it hard for you at times to use your budget towards just any team, or do you love the history of baseball so much it's not even a thought process of Reds over another team, I guess?
I think it's an illness, Theo. I just think it's some kind of illness that if I see something cool, it doesn't matter what team it is if it looks cool.
Okay.
This is all stuff. Yeah, see, the Reds really shouldn't like Cleveland at all. They're interstate rivals, and they don't like each other, but I love Cleveland Indians stuff. So, this cool. Statue of Bob Feller is, and then that's kind of a cool little, I was kind of proud of this. I have a very rare Bob Feller signed ball. There's very few known to exist. I'm just kidding. He signed everything in sight. But then the 50 Bowman card, I just love that. The 50 Bowmans are like little paintings to me. So I pop them in the displays wherever I can, just because I love that year and the artwork that, it just looks like a miniature painting. It's just a beautiful little thing.
That is cool. What's the popsicle sign above?
And he also, he's got a lot of the marketing signs too from back in the day.
That is cool. I love that.
Bob Feller pitching.
Typically, they were thrown out at the end of the promotion. They would just be thrown away. So any of these that survived is a miracle, especially in this condition. There's one for Nellie Fox with favorite chewing tobacco.
I'll take you over here real slowly to see these because they're really cool. Got Chesterfield, the cigarettes.
That's Whit Wyatt. He was a pretty good pitcher for Brooklyn.
And then this is really cool. PF Flyer, shoes.
This is the ultimate floating heads piece. I know people talk about the floating heads with regard to baseball cards, but look at this. You got some real floaters there.
Wow. That is cool. Now, Mark, I will say you talk about it a lot in your videos. Condition is so important to you, which is awesome. But do you ever sacrifice condition and hope to quote unquote upgrade a piece in the future, or do you really hold your ground and you make sure you find the right one the first time around?
I have been incredibly disciplined in holding my ground. I just can't. Okay. I can't get past the condition if it's. if it's a tattered pennant or one that has a bad stain on it, I find myself just looking at the stain. And even with regard to baseball cards, I don't go after the high grade cards. I think my wheelhouse is mid range, 4 to 6 range. But if it has a crease in it, I just won't. I can't deal with it. I can't deal. And I know some people will say they don't want the crease to go across the player's face or a key
Yeah.
part of the card. If the card has a crease on it anywhere, it just irks me so much that I just hold out for a different example that won't have a crease. And it
Well,
makes it hard because when you're looking for cards, they don't disclose that anymore. They just rely on the dumb grade. And a PSA or a SGC3 could easily have a crease or it could not. And nobody discloses it. It's just become incredibly frustrating to have to reach out to every single seller to say, hey, does this card have a crease? And they usually don't answer. Usually they just ignore you, but some will get back to you. And I think if they don't answer, it means the card does have a crease and they don't want to tell you that.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
I
cards,
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's some of my better cards. Now none of these were slabbed as of 9 months ago. This is all recent. You can see that I like SGC. I just like the look of the vintage cards in their slabs infinitely more than PSA. Those are still raw. Everything in this cabinet was raw up until recently. I'm really kind of opposed to the concept of grading, but I did it because, I think it's going to make it a lot easier to liquidate when that day comes. And it could come tomorrow and it could come in 10 years, who knows? But these are some of my favorite cards. I'll point out a few of note. This Wagner Philadelphia Caramel has become quite an expensive card. And
just trying. There's so much glare.
there's a lot of glare.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I've got my favorite Cracker Jack right there, kind of in the middle. Fred Clark, very poignant pose with him kind of sitting on his bat. I just think that's again, back to the theme of artistry and art. I just think that's a beautifully composed card. Then I just love the Willie Keeler to his right. I just love that pink background on that Willie Keeler E90-1, I believe. Then if you go down a little bit, these are some of my favorite T206s, especially the Walsh. That mint green background just gets me every time I look at that Walsh card. And then there's a Honus Wagner Colgan chip there that's in absolute pristine condition with no flaws. And SGC gave it a 4.5. I thought it would come back a 7 at worst. And they gave it a 4.5, and I sent it in for what?
I was going to say it doesn't
What'd
even
you
have
say, Theo?
corners. It doesn't even have corners to get in trouble for the
I
corners.
know.
No.
It's not a perfect circle.
It's a perfect circle. They give it a 4.5. I don't know why, but it is what it is. It's still a beautiful little circle. And so these are some of my favorites. Just type cards. I don't collect any one player or do player runs or anything like that. I just collect some of the cards that I think are beautiful. That
Nice.
Carl Hubble horizontal Gaudi is one of the more underrated cards in the hobby, I think. This one right here with the beautiful orange sky. I just love that card. You don't hear it talked a little lower.
It's really.
There you go. And then I love the DeLong cards too. The Pie Trainer right there next to him. And then the play ball too with the Archie Vaughan. Look at those colors in the background. That's just Art Deco brilliance.
Wow. Love
So
it.
again, it's all about the aesthetics for me. All right,
That's
you want to
awesome.
show the old stuff?
Yeah, you want to hold a second? I'll move the light.
Oh, sure. Okay, these are just some really early pieces of baseball memorabilia. This is an inkwell, super scarce. You can see the figural players. That's from probably the 1880s. You can see they're wearing boater style caps. And then we have the other inkwell over here, very similar but different. So I love this figural stuff. I know it's generic and it doesn't pertain to any one team or player, but it just represents baseball just past the Civil War when it was really becoming a thing. This is like baseball's infancy, and I just love these figural pieces. That trophy, that copper-colored trophy, depicts a scene. That's actually Jimmy Collins depicted there with the player sliding in. It's just kind of a classic pose. There's one of those embossed postcards that has that same exact image on it. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
I've never seen
And if you pan down, some of these figural items, these are all before the turn of the century. They're just spectacular. I mean, the artistry and the artwork is just off the charts. Those guys with their mouths wide open are ashtrays. So you'd put your cigarette or your cigar in there, and smoke would billow out of their mouths. And these are all, yeah. But I mean, when you see them in person, it just floors you, the workmanship that went into these things.
So we did a couple episodes on the relationship of tobacco and baseball, and so these are some of those things from those episodes as well.
Yeah, that Cy Young tobacco tin is super rare. Then I love the thermometer. Look at the figural thermometer there with the player. That was made by Pearpoint, which was one of a fine jewelry company at the time back in the 1880s. And again, these are just works. To me, these are just works of art, but I think they're underappreciated in the hobby, and not many people collect them. So I was able to pick up quite a few of these things.
Awesome.
And I like early gloves. Each one of these gloves in this kind of tower display was endorsed by a Hall of Fame player. And then I have his corresponding Gaudy or Diamond Star card next to him.
Mark, do you do all the displays yourself, or do you get advice from other people? Or
I've never gotten.
You do a great job.
It's unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah, this one's kind of cool. This Rogers Hornsby glove is a 3-finger glove. You know, the ring finger and the pinky went in one stall, as you can see. And then if you look at the picture of Rogers Hornsby up above, this is the photograph that was used to make his 1933 Gaudy horizontal card.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You can see he's using that same exact model glove.
Oh my gosh. That's cool.
Pretty cool.
That is.
Then I love these. I love figural items like this. If you pan down to this trophy here, Spalding made some spectacular baseball trophies back in the 1920s, mostly in the mid to late 20s. This is the first baseman trophy. And if you look at it, I mean, the artwork is just stunning, and it's big. I mean, this is my hand. You can see how big this trophy is, and it's heavy and substantial, and it's just a work of art. And being a first baseman, I put my Jimmy Fox next to him just because I thought they looked really good together, even though Fox is batting and not playing first.
I love the pairing.
Then if you go down, here's a mirror that was from the 1880s. You can see they're wearing pillbox hats, and the catcher is not fully crouched. It just really captures the spirit of the game. And I just love these figural type pieces. And if you go up to the top there we go. We have Hank Greenberg's 34 Gaudy. I guess that's considered his rookie card. And then an autograph ball of his next to, see if you can get tight on that tie cob. Oh, it's blocking the light.
Yeah, it's not easy to do back in the corner.
Let me see if you go down and kind of point it up. Yeah, it's not coming through very well, but that's a Ty Cobb single sign ball next to his T206, one of his T206 cards.
Yeah, I could see the autograph pretty good there.
Oh, cool.
That's a pricey autograph. I can't imagine what that would go for now.
Oh, I know. It's rare to get one in that condition too. It's really a sweet one.
Yeah, that's
awesome. A cool trophy with the double batters. And this is all tobacco related stuff here. Then God, I wish there was more light.
Well, here you can hold. I'll get more light over here.
Okay. Oh, this isn't too bad. It's not bad at all. So this is a shelf of all Yankee stuff.
Okay. I see Babe Ruth with Lou Gehrig there.
Yeah, go back up. There's to the Yankee shelf. There's Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. It's backwards. The Ruth only graded a 3, I guess, because of the centering. It's got really sharp corners and no creases or anything, but they gave it a 3. Gehrig got a 4. I bought all these cards I bought in the 90s. You ever heard of SCP auctions? Sports Cards
No,
Plus?
no.
They used to have a brick and mortar store. They're just a catalog auction now, but back in the 90s, they had a brick and mortar store in Laguna Niguel when I lived in Southern California. And man, they had some great cards there. I bought the Gehrig and the Ruth Gowdies there. And they had a Gehrig PSA 5. And this card was so much better. This was raw when I bought it. You can see that SGC only gave it a 4. But if you looked at the two side by side, every single thing about the raw Gehrig was better than the PSA 5. The registration was horrible. It kind of made you dizzy to look at it. The blue background was faded. It almost looked gray. And that got a 5, and this gets a 4. So that's kind of why I'm not a big fan of grading. It's just so inconsistent, you know?
I know.
I'm sure
It's a
you've never
shame.
had that discussion.
Yeah. Oh,
So
let's
what
look
are
at the
we?
White Sox.
Yeah, go ahead.
Take a look at that. It's a coat rack and mirror that celebrates the 1906 world champion White Sox. They were called the hitless wonders because they had great pitching but no hitting at all. But look at the detail in this thing. This kind of sums up why I like to collect early baseball memorabilia. It's just such a detailed, incredible item that they would never make today.
Wow, that is so unique.
And then you get to some of the pennants. These are all big, oversized pennants. They're much bigger than what you would guess when you see them live. They're really impressive. But the artwork is so cool. The Cleveland pennant is dated 1916, and it's got 9 Indians, one representing each position of the field. So
Wow,
that's the earliest Cleveland Indian pennant that I've got, I think.
that is cool.
And look at the artwork compared to the mass-produced stuff that they do today. You know,
Amazing. I love that tiger. I love that tiger below. That's a cool looking tiger right there.
yeah. I mean, it's incredible that they could put out this kind of thing back in the turn of the century and make it look so beautiful. Look at the detail on this New York Giants pennant. I mean,
Wow.
you got the skyline of New York back, before the Empire State Building. Then you have the New York Giant with his banner, proudly displaying his banner. It's just such a thing of beauty. Then if you go up, you'll see before they were for a period, the Cleveland Indians were called the Cleveland Naps because Nap
Mhm.
Lajoie was such an incredible force that they named the team after him. I guess they're going to have to name the Mariners the Raleighs. Then this is
Vertical.
This is a vertical pennant. Frank Chance's Cubs. The lighting's a little crappy.
Well, we're moving the lighting around as we do this, so
Okay.
it's a dark corner here.
There's a lot of glare.
It's okay.
Anyway, there you get a pretty good idea of it. I mean, the detail in that pennant is just off the charts. This would be from about 1910.
That's another thing that's really kind of difficult about shooting the show is there's so many things behind glass
Yeah.
and that are fixed. So to get a good shot of them, it takes a lot of work because we're not going to be dismantling things to show people. So, but
Right.
it's totally worth it.
No, I
Here's a
totally
couple
get
of
it.
items that
Good, Mark.
So I hope you're getting a sense of the scope of this because it's pretty amazing.
Here's a
Yeah,
Christy Mathewson statue from the early teens.
that is cool. Wow, Sammy's gonna
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's about 16 inches in height. Then next to it, it kind of hammers home how old the game of baseball is. They made these kerosene lamps with Hartford and Chicago players. And this is before electricity. I mean, baseball history goes so far back, it predates electricity. It's just incredible. You can see the detail in that. Then on the other side of the Maddie statue, I have a Walter Johnson, which we did. I think we did an episode on that one.
Yeah,
I don't know how well that's coming through.
yeah, it looks good.
Then we have the matching lamp here with the Hartford batter. Those probably date back to the 1870s. Then this wall is all devoted to the Philadelphia Athletics.
Love that
You can
elephant
see
logo.
against- Yeah, the white elephant is a classic story behind that. John McGraw called them a bunch of white elephants as an insult because he was playing them in the World Series and he wasn't worried about them. And Connie Mack embraced it. The whole city of Philadelphia embraced the whole white elephant theme, and it became their mascot.
Wow.
And to this day, I think the Oakland A's even have an elephant patch on their sleeve. This is one of my favorite pennants here. It's called the Connie Mack Ringmaster pennant. It's made by the same company. Repco is the company who made this. They also made that Frank Chance's Cubs pennant, the vertical one that you just saw. But I mean, look at the detail. They have every little crack in the elephant's skin. Connie Mack there is the ringmaster. Just phenomenal workmanship. Now we got the lighting right that you can see it more beautifully.
Yeah, this is the dark part of the studio, so it takes a lot of lighting setup, but from here on out, you should be able to see things a little clearer.
Yeah, and I would love to, when we get out of this corner, I would love to just get a big overview of what the corner looks like from far back.
Sure.
Okay. Here, before we do that, here's a Babe Ruth mutascope machine. So you'd put a penny in the slot and you'd crank it, and it is like a flip card thing that lights up when you put your eyes up against this portion here. So
Wow.
you'd crank it, and as you watch it, it's the only way that people could see Babe Ruth hitting a home run because they didn't have television back then, and you just had no
Does it
other way
still
to
work?
see Babe Ruth. What?
Does it still work?
It works, yeah. I wonder if
Oh my gosh. That's
we can get a
amazing.
pen.
I have not carried a penny on me since 19.
You know, I think let's see if we can do this. We're gonna try to do this.
In the meantime, I'll
Okay.
try and get you an overview shot here of what we've been
Yeah.
seeing.
Yeah, let's
Just
do it. Does that ask Mark if that machine takes Venmo? Maybe we could Venmo a penny.
Yeah.
This is
But
looking
here's
good.
just to give you kind of a panoramic view of all the delicious stuff in this one corner of the room.
These are all game used flannels on the rack.
That is amazing. Wow. Yeah, the
Okay, let's
broad
try this thing.
overview is crazy. Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna try the machine.
Okay.
Pray that it works. You can get in there.
Oh, there he is. Oh yeah. So there he goes.
After he hits the home run, he's greeted by Lou Gehrig at the plate.
There he is. Oh yeah, he's okay, he's there. He's at the plate. And the pitch. Swung on and belted.
Is it working?
Yeah, you can see it. That is crazy. There he goes. Oh, he's rounding first. The Babe Ruth trot. Oh, that's so cool.
I guess I should speed it up like the old time.
Yeah.
First time on YouTube history.
That's cool. You get the idea.
Man,
There it goes.
the
Okay.
kids would get a workout. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I have a rack of game used bats here. A little more contemporary. I'll just show you one. I won't bore you to death with it, but this one's kind of cool. GB5. Any guesses? Theo?
Uh,
No?
no, I don't.
Look at the pine tar. Look at the amount of pine tar.
Hmm.
Pine tar, bats, GB. I know.
Oh, it's probably before your time. You're so damn
George
young.
Brett?
I know.
George Brett?
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good.
You got it.
Would you just Google that?
This isn't the
No.
bat that he got the home run taken away, but it's very similar. Look how high up that pine tar goes.
Wow. I did not get to see George Brett play, but I've heard about him.
That makes me want to throw up that anybody can be that young. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, George Brett, he was a heck of a third baseman. I
Yeah,
think
hopefully-
he and Schmidt were probably the two best ever.
There's another
Yeah.
rack of bats over here.
These are different. These are antique bats. It's hard to photograph them because they're so long, but this one on top is from the Civil War era. Super old piece of wood.
Wow.
Then they made these decal bats that are cool. This one's Honus Wagner. Oh yeah, that's coming through pretty good.
Yeah.
Honus Wagner decal bat, and then there's a shoeless Joe Jackson. This one.
For those decals to be there is amazing.
It's a miracle. They were applied with water. They're wafer thin, and if you played with the bat at all, the contact with the ball is going to wear away the decal in no time. So it's really rare to find them with the decal intact like that.
That is cool. I'm guessing you don't have a Clemente bat in the room down there, do you?
I missed the opportunity. They've gotten so expensive. I'll never own one.
Yeah.
My buddy who I referenced before, Mike Knapp has an absolute one of the best ones to exist. It's actually scored, and it's just a thing of beauty. And I got to see it in person. It had the tapered handle, no knob, but a tapered knob, I guess you'd say. Just a gorgeous bat. But I will never own a Clemente. I do have all of the Cincinnati Reds, the great eight, the starting eight for the 75 and 76 Reds. So Morgan, Perez, Bench, Rose, Concepcion, Foster, and Griffey.
That's cool.
And Geronimo. Can't forget Geronimo. Those are all here. I have numerous Tony Perez bats. One of them I took to him to have autographed, and he laughed and he said, "How did you get this?" Because it's heavily cracked. It's got a really nasty crack in it. And he goes, "You know what happened here? Bob Gibson do this to me."
Oh my gosh, that is cool.
He was just kidding, of course, but he did. It led to a really great story about how Bob Gibson was the toughest pitcher he ever faced, and he was like, he would actually be shaking when he had to get in there against Bob Gibson. He was just so terrified of him. So that was a cool story.
That is really cool.
Oh, let's show this. Now this game is really cool. This is a good crossover piece for all the card guys that are watching. Carl Horner was the photographer that took all the T206 portrait shots. And you can see that the same shots are on this game. This is a very rare Major League Baseball game from the early teens. And it's got the most beautiful artwork with all these Carl Horner portraits. Of course, you got the Wagner, same images as on the Wagner, T206 card. Frank Chance is on there, Bresnahan, all the stars of the day. It's just a beautiful piece, in my opinion.
It's really cool.
Then here's the arcade games that I alluded to earlier. That was one of my favorite episodes because we got to interact and actually play them. And these are, I mean, this was the entertainment in the bars back in the day.
I got to go back. Good.
See the Tiger pennant? Oh, well, we got autographs of Honus Wagner, Cy Young, and Nap Lajoie. We just did a show on those not too long ago, with others included too. The Tiger pennant I love because it's a long, skinny pennant from the early teens, And the Tiger is so clearly modeled after Ty Cobb. He's got the split hand grip. He's got the shitty ass grin and the smirk on his face. He's got the cockiness. It's just such a beautiful Tiger mascot modeled directly after Ty Cobb. I just love this one.
That is cool.
And then if you go down to the bottom shelf, this is a Nap Lajoie game used bat. It has the letter from Mears designating A8, meaning it grades 8 out of 10 in terms of game use, and it's such a beautiful thing. When I take it out of the case, it just feels like polished marble. It doesn't even feel like wood. It's so smooth. The grain is so tight and so smooth. It's just a thing of beauty.
Is it really heavy? Because I heard that they would be swinging very heavy bats back then.
Oh, it's so heavy. I don't know how you'd ever get around on Major League Fastball. It's so heavy, and the handles were so thick back then that you didn't get that whip action. Nowadays they use thin handle bats, but back then the handles were so ridiculously thick.
But it was a singles game back then. It wasn't a home run game.
Yeah, that's a great point. It was all about advancing the runner, and not until Babe Ruth came along did the home run really become as prevalent as it did.
Cool.
So it's
So,
crazy to hold it.
What else? Did we see the whole room, or was there any other areas?
Well, we're getting there. We'll step it up a little bit here. But here's what we were talking about earlier with the
Heartland?
The Heartland?
Heartlands, yeah. And there's a really fun episode on that where Mark quizzes me on each one. And I did pretty good, but I don't know them all like Mark does, but they are really cool.
You got about 85%. You did pretty good. That's Bobby Knopp's Gold Glove Award from 1966.
No way. That's cool.
And then these are all ashtrays. Speaking of tobacco and baseball and the relationship and everything, I mean, this doesn't really do it justice walking around here with a shaky camera and glared light, but it's just everything here is like you could spend a half hour just looking at one item. It's just so amazing. And Mark's, to what you were talking about earlier, it's like everything is pristine. There's not a chip, there's not a mark, there's not a stain on anything.
Yeah, I pulled this for you, Theo. Is that coming?
Yeah.
Is it looking good? This is a Type 1 photo. I think it's the greatest image ever taken of Mente. It's gigantic. It's 11 by 14. So most of my Type 1 photos I put in a binder with Mylar sheets, but this one I had to frame because it wouldn't fit in any binder. It's 11 by 14, much bigger than the typical Type 1 photo. And it's just a great image. It looks like it was probably a low pitch at the knees, and Clemente took the pitch, and he's kind of looking back at the ump to see if he's going to call it a strike. It's just such a great poignant shot of Clemente.
That is really, really cool, Mark. Did they say, like, is the back say like I know it's in a frame, but was it in a newspaper or do you know?
Yeah,
any of the
it did have a caption on it. I've had it framed for so long, I forget what the caption says, but I've got a PSA letter on it and everything that it's definitely Type 1.
That's so
then we go
cool.
to Reds Corner here. This is all about the Reds.
Okay.
And this great old sign from Crosley Field.
This might be my favorite piece, Theo. This is a ticket sign from Crosley before they demolished it. And it's got Mr. Red at the top, looking happy like he always does. You might look at the ticket prices. Ladies' reserve seats were $1.50, and general admission was 49 cents.
Wow, that is cool.
It's just cool. It's big too. It's probably 3 feet wide. Big, heavy sheet metal sign. Really, really cool. These are also relics from Crosley Field. This is a seat from Crosley Field. They're not that rare. A bunch of them survived, but to find one like this, an aisle seat, is rare. Only the aisle seats had the C Reds figural portion on the end.
Oh, wow.
So the middle seats wouldn't have that. So I looked long and hard for an aisle seat and finally got one. This is a turnstile from Crosley Field. And then a ladder that was actually at the press box. This is how archaic things were back then. This little wooden ladder led up to the press box. as like a fire exit, like an emergency exit. They would have to take this little ladder to get out of there. And then at the bottom is the base from the last game ever played at Crosley Field. That came from I'm blocking on his name, the trainer. Gosh darn it. The equipment manager, Larry.
We wouldn't know his name anyway, would we?
You guys wouldn't know the name. It came from his estate. It's got impeccable provenance. It gives me goosebumps to think that it's just sitting here in this room.
That is cool.
And a few Reds things displayed here, as you can see.
Got a Joe Morgan game used glove, a Tony Perez. Unfortunately, when he was with Boston, because it's number 5, but still a Tony Perez game used glove.
That's
this
crazy.
is a cool card. This is Theo. Do you have the Clemente, the 68 3D?
No, I might mortgage my house and get one, but no, I don't have that.
Yeah, I've got the Perez. To me, it looks perfect, but they gave it a 4 for some reason. I don't know why, but that's my Tony Perez 3D, my favorite Perez card. Then this is Tony Perez's helmet that he wore in 1975, including the World Series, with a letter from the Reds gift shop. They actually sold this item, and I've got the original letter that accompanied it. And then Pete Rose's rookie cap. That's the first cap he ever wore.
Who's Pete Rose?
Yeah, and it comes with a full. It's got like a book, an authenticity, not just a letter of authenticity from Dave Grobe, but like a full book documenting the history of that thing. So it's
wow, that belongs in the Hall of Fame. That's we got to get Pete in the Hall of Fame first, but that belongs in the Hall of Fame. That's insane.
Hey man, just get him in. He had a lifetime ban, and now his life is over. So let's get him in the Hall.
Get him in the Hall.
I guess while we're doing Reds, we might as well just go up here.
So, yeah. So just to show you the scope of the room, I know we want to wrap it up here a little bit, but this is the hallway. It's got pins.
Here's one. If Sammy watches this, he'd like to see this. That's a Matty Silk. I'm sure he's got one of those. That Matty doll, that Christy Mathewson doll, came out of Robert Edward Auctions. Super rare. I've never seen another one. But look at the face and the head. It is just clearly the same image as on the T205 card. And then if you look at the gumball, the box of gumballs, Matty was famous for throwing a fadeaway, which I'm sure was just a screwball, but they called it the famous fadeaway pitch, and they named gum after it. From American Chickle. Yeah, it's a box. Did you get it looking down at the gumballs?
That's legit. The legit gumballs from back then.
Yeah, those are the legit gumballs. I don't dare have one, but
I'm glad you never told me that. They'd be gone.
So that's a little tribute to Mathewson. And then
pins. We got a couple episodes on pins.
Yeah. This one's pretty cool up here. The lighting is off, but
you can see it.
You've got a Babe Ruth and a Lou Gehrig. These pinback buttons, if ever again. Yeah, if you're doing a player run and you run out of cards to collect, go to pinback buttons. They're really fun to collect, and they're not as expensive as cards. These are all Jackie Robinson pins, both cases. Then up above, you got Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and Yogi Berra, all the Yankee greats.
Should we show them this room?
Yeah. If we're running short on time, we better.
Yeah, we should.
Okay, we're gonna move to another room. Oh, yes, about the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. The Russ Hodges call. This is from the 51. This pennant is from the 51 championship season where Bobby Thompson hit the famous home run.
Oh my gosh.
And this Boston Braves pennant is super old. That's probably from 1908 or so with the bunting.
I can't believe that survived. Wow.
Okay, now we're coming into the room with the really old stuff. This is the
Yeah, 1908's not old.
Okay, let's start with the pennants here on the right. Yeah. Just a gorgeous White Sox pennant with the outstretched fielder. Beautiful writing. It says White Sox. Then this Braves pennant beneath it is a early Boston Braves pennant. That's actually Johnny Evers. Evers went from the Cubs to the Braves to finish his career, and they were so happy to get him that they made a pennant with him superimposed over the Indian chief.
Wow.
And then the Christy Mathewson Tour of Japan, World Tour pennant from 1914. That's super rare. The lighting's kind of funny. It's a beautiful mustard yellow pennant. Then we got very early. These are all oversized, huge oversized pennants, much bigger than what you'd probably envision.
That is awesome.
It's a rack of game-worn jerseys.
Yeah, these are all antique style jerseys. I'll show a couple of them. This is one of my favorites. This is a lace front jersey from the Genesee team. I've got a collector that's really after this thing. I've managed to hold on to it. It's so rare. If you look at the old Allen and Ginter cards,
Yeah,
really early baseball cards, you'll see these lace front uniforms with the full floppy collar and the beautiful graphics. This one was worn by a pitcher because you can see they put their position here. The P was for pitcher. So this uniform's from the 1880s, super
oh
old,
my gosh.
and it's just held up in beautiful, beautiful condition.
Did you buy that from an auction house? How did you find it?
That one came from Leland's.
Oh my gosh.
Leland's auction. Another super old one here is called a bib front. It has like a bib with no less than 10 buttons that attach it to the jersey.
To think they wore these in the summer playing baseball is just ridiculous.
Heavy wool jersey, long sleeves. It looks like a jacket. I mean, the last thing you'd want to do in this thing is play
It
baseball.
looks like it's more for a military parade.
I was gonna say that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's some of my better. I got to show this one. This is one of my favorites. This was worn by Stan Rojek. He was a journeyman shortstop, but he played for the Brooklyn Dodgers in the late 40s. And it's a satin uniform. You can see that it's kind of like shiny. It has a sheen to it because when the lights first went in at Ebbets Field, Dodger management was afraid that the fans wouldn't be able to see the players because they didn't know how the lights would work. And if you're sitting that far away from the players, are you going to really see them at night? So they came out with these shiny uniforms that they thought would reflect the light. The trouble is that the players hated them. The players thought that they felt like clowns wearing pajamas.
Glitter pajamas.
Yeah. They just felt stupid wearing these pajama-like uniforms, and the satin didn't breathe at all. They were sweating like mad because the material didn't breathe. So they hated it. And because of that, it's very short-lived and very hard to find. So anything that's that rare and has that kind of story behind it, collectors go gaga for. So to find one of these Brooklyn Dodgers satins is almost impossible.
That's cool. That's a crazy story.
Then in these cases, there's and we have episodes on almost all these things that you've seen here, so you can check them out in a little more detail.
Yeah.
But this is the real museum stuff behind the glass.
Yeah, the balls at the top are called lemon peel balls. They came into existence shortly after the Civil War. The one on the extreme right is a belt ball, followed by a number of lemon peels that are super rare and tough to find, especially in that condition. If you're a condition freak like me, you pass on almost every one until you find the right one.
And then these great old caps, all the different styles, boater, newsy, and then all these really archaic and old catcher's masks.
This is unbelievable. Like,
Isn't it?
crazy that we're not at the Baseball Hall of Fame right now.
I know, I agree. And then this wall of mitts. There's no light on here, but including white leather in perfect condition, a white leather catcher's mitt. I mean, it's crazy.
Some of these are rare. This is called a crescent mitt. They thought that by having this crescent pad, it would help cradle the ball. Because the gloves back then weren't hinged. You couldn't close your hand on the ball because it's like a pancake. So they thought that the little crescent, it's present here, this glove has it, and this black, you'll never see it, but the black mitt up there has it. And They thought it would help cradle the ball. Again, the players didn't like it, so it was very short-lived and thus pretty rare and expensive. I'll show this one here, Bart, the duck web. This is called a duck web glove. It's like the first attempt ever to connect the fingers. If you think of a baseball glove today, the fingers are connected by lacing, leather lacing that holds them together. Back then, they were all split finger gloves, and a hot line drive could go right between the fingers. So they were attempted to connect the fingers with this duck web. Again, it was very short-lived and very hard to find a very unique glove that collectors just go crazy for.
Huh. Yeah.
So I know we're wrapping this up, but I just got to show you, even coming down the stairs to Mark's museum, you're greeted by game worn Joe Morgan.
Yeah, 77, Joe Morgan.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, game worn Perez.
74, Tony Perez.
You got Perez coming down the stairs.
Well, that's
You got
the painting.
Perez.
That one. That's the original artwork from Dick Perez, used to make the Perez Steel postcard.
No way.
Yeah, that's the painting that it's based off of. In fact, I'll just grab the card. Here's the postcard signed by Perez. And then there's the painting used to make it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And they Leroy
Neiman.
Yeah,
Johnny Bench.
Big Red Machine. And then the cut card, that's in episode 2. That's really one of my favorites.
That image of Tony Perez's 1966 card is all made up of cut junk wax era cards. So cards from the 80s and 90s that are basically worthless were cut up by the artist to make this this Tony Perez card.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
I'll grab the card. So it's this one. It's actually one of my favorite Perez cards.
Yeah,
And
me
you can
too.
see when you're up close, it looks like a jumbled mess. You can see the players' faces in his arms, and in his face, you can see all the players' faces from the baseball cards that have been cut. But when you zoom away,
You don't even notice.
yeah, it looks like an actual painting when you get far away.
Wow. That is cool.
So that's all we got. Sorry.
Now, there's more if you want it. Oh, let me show a couple more things.
Mark is so funny.
I know.
He can't help himself.
I know.
Just because I think
I'm trying to play producer here, but
on this one, this is basically for Sammy. If
Okay.
Sammy runs out of Willie Mays cards to buy, he's got to go for the sunglasses. Look at those.
Wow.
There aren't many of those that made it. Those all got thrown out. Those are probably from the very early 60s.
say hey.
And then this is a super rare piece. That's a Willie Mays desk set with Mays catching a ball. Super rare, super tough to find.
That is cool. Wow. Why don't we walk back into the main room? I'll wrap it up and talk as you guys walk in there, and just give a little panorama of the main room here from far away. And I just really thank you guys for the time and effort you guys put in today to show everybody this stuff of greatness. And I honestly hope that you guys blow up after this episode with just how much stuff you guys teach us. And it's just an amazing channel, and I just think you guys have such a passion for this hobby. So I thank you guys for that, and I appreciate you guys coming on. I hope we can do something in the future together.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. Well, it's been a pleasure doing this. It's been really super fun. Great meeting you. And Roberto Clemente is also my favorite player. So we have that in common. And 22, who's that?
Joe Gibbon.
You teaser. One letter off, one number off. But
So close.
no, thanks so much for having us on. And the Stuff of Greatness, the YouTube channel. And yeah, check it out, please.
Yeah.
All right. You're good, Mark.
Oh, I love you guys' channel. I love the Four Collectors. It's always the highlight of YouTube to watch you guys. You do such an amazing job. And the whole Strongsville thing with the trade night looked amazing. I hope to one day do it, even though they don't have much memorabilia. I'll find a way to get back there, and I just really appreciate everything you guys do for the hobby.
Oh wow, thanks. That's flattering, Mark. I appreciate it. And like I said, let's have you guys back for something else in the future. Maybe we can have you on a panel one night or something like that. Even though you're not on the card side of things as much as some of us, I think you have some great opinions, and we appreciate all the support you've given us. So thank you.
We're also too good looking not to be on camera more.
Oh, absolutely. That goes without saying.
Bart needs to come if I invite Mark. Dang it. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks so much.
All right, stick around, guys. I'm going to hit the end button here, and we'll talk real quick. Thanks, everybody that watched, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right.
Later.
Welcome to For Collector.